Okay, we are recording. Today is March 1st. Oh my goodness, it's March 1st already. Um, and this is the Ortelius Outreach Committee meeting. So the two big things to cover today, even though we may have other things on the agenda, the things that we really have to get covered today are I want to go over the website just so everybody knows it's out there. Let me share my screen. Steve, why don't you share your screen and go through the website?
Okay, we'll give it a go, see if it happens.
And then in the meantime, I'll bring up this other doc.
Okay, so go on Zoom, get out of the way. So the new website, the Linux Foundation, I talked to them on Friday and they got our IP address and DNS rerouted. So we are good on that front. So the SiteGround website, the old one has been replaced with this one. So this one is runs off of the Git repo and the work that Owen put together. So we'll be able to start. There's a couple little things I have to tidy up as far as being able to edit the page from the site. You can normally have, you'll see like there's an edit button and stuff, edit this page. Some of those links aren't working 100% yet. I have to double check them today. But the repo is website. Right now, just to get this thing launched, we're working off of the main trunk and not doing any pull requests. But we'll change that. So if you want to make a blog entry or, add additional, edits or whatever, go ahead and feel free. The main content is going to be in the content directory. And then within that, the way Doxy works is there's going to be a markdown for each one of those directories from there. So so in the blog, we have four categories. And then within the four categories, you're going to have the main page and then subsequent pages. So this little one is just like a placeholder, the way it works for the menu. And then we have the individual pages here for the blogs. If we go to news, we'll see a few more. So news doesn't go any further. So it's just blog news. And then we have these news markdowns as part of that process. So it's really easy to work with. When you get in there and look at the raw, you'll see a header and that is dealing with how to order it. Right now they're coming out, I believe, alphabetical. But from there, after you can look at other pages.
The blogs actually show up based on the date.
Okay.
I think all of the blogs do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I knew there was some sort of waiting in place to come. You have your regular markdown, so that's like a header one. And then you can mix in HTML into it as well. One of the things I noticed is you need a space between, this one will turn out as a paragraph HTML P tag. You need a space so it'll pick up the other inline HTML. So regular markdown stuff, it's going to be great to get switched and everybody working with that. Like I said, we'll start working on the, I'll make sure that when we go to edit the page and all that stuff, it's working. We just wanted to get it out there and cut over as part of that process. So that's kind of where we're at with the blog.
That was one of our goals for 2020, so it's great that we got it done, even though we were 2 months late. It's okay. We got it done. Better late than never.
Yeah, it's done. And I don't know if on the blogathon, if you want to update the process or stick with the regular process that you have. I'll let it go back to you.
We'll just stick with the regular process, but if somebody feels comfortable with submitting the blog via Markdown, go for it. Not everybody's going to be that comfortable originally with Markdown, so I think you guys, at least all of you, I think, could handle doing it via Markdown. So that would be that's the best way. And moving forward, we should just, if there's anything on the website you want updated now, you just create a pull request for it.
And what ends up happening is behind the scenes, Right now, when you check in, when we do the merge, um, uh, it will actually kick off a Google Cloud build, and the cloud build will update the deploy hub side, telling us about the new component version of the website, and then we go ahead and deploy through deploy hub out to the Azure. So that so both the website and the documentation are on Hugo, running in our Azure cluster, and both of them have an automated pipeline to get out there. In the Azure cluster, we're using Istio as the routing, and once I get a little bit of a break, we'll get into fancier routing, so we can have a deb site and a prod site, and it'll just be handled by routing in Istio with multiple versions of the same container running.
So I think what I want to do is schedule a time for maybe next week for anybody who wants to be a contributor to the website, just to walk through making sure you're set up so that you can do that. And if you have any questions, Steve will be on the call we'll just do a little workshop kind of thing. So I'll put that out there. Since next week we only have the one meeting, I'll probably do it like maybe Friday or maybe Thursday morning, something like that. I'll just put it out there if anybody wants to show up and get their environment set up so that they can do this, they can.
And it's cool. And it's easy. Hugo's real easy because you can run it locally and test and view everything locally without having a huge install. So.
Is it like a little web? Is it like a little web application that you can run locally?
Yeah, it's a little Golang program.
Okay. Oh, I've never used it, so rad. Something new to learn. Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually liking it a lot. You know, the number of pages that we have, we have maybe a couple dozen pages, and they actually get all served up out of memory. So there's no database queries like with WordPress where you have to go hit a MySQL database for the pages. This is literally, they come in off of the file system, then they get cached in the memory. So it's very handy. There's some tweaking on that front around image caching on the browser side that we have to set the settings for. We have to look at that. There's a whole set of tuning that we need to do for it. Like, do you have multiple header ones on a page, or, for SEO, you should have a header one then followed by header twos, and vice versa. You shouldn't have any header twos without a header one. So there's all these SEO rules that we still have to address, but it's out there. It has a sitemap, and we'll get going on that. So it should start getting picked up soon by Google. But there's a whole tweaking part that if someone wants to geek out on that, please. I could help you. I could help you show you what we need to do and how to do it.
I will make that happen on Thursday. I'll do it a week from this coming Thursday. So I give everybody enough time if they want to. I don't think you have anything on Thursday morning, Steve, on your calendar.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I'll go ahead
and I know, like on the SEO part, I know if somebody tells me how to fix it or tweak it, I know how to do that. But the SEO is an art.
We'll just have to create an issue that says somebody who's good at SEO needs to go through the website and make sure it's. I'll just create an issue for that. That's a good task actually to address.
I'll go ahead and create that issue now before I forget.
So everybody, be sure you sign in. There's 9 of us on the call, and there's only 4 of us that signed in. So just click on the doc. If you don't have access to it, let me know. You should. Everybody should have access.
And I'll put it out in the chat again. It's so weird that you can't go back in the history in Zoom's chat. So what else do you have going on there, Tracy?
So the other thing that we need to cover, and I'm looking at this, doesn't make sense. What, did you just copy all of this stuff from?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
I pulled it forward from last week's meeting, so you had something to work from.
Oh, okay. I'm going to delete all of this. So Garima has been working on our recognition program, and I'm going to share it with you just to get some feedback because she wants some feedback from the group. I'll share my screen. Where did I put it? Somewhere. Maybe it's here. No, not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so she has identified, based on the discussions that we've had, three kind of, and she pulled this out of the personas that Tatiana and Nitu has worked on, and then added the one that we talked about. We called them legends. So initially she thought that we should just go for two, and she calls one the community champions and one ambassadors. The community champions are everybody who's doing things like doing pull requests, coding changes, updates to the website, all the technical stuff. Um, the ambassadors are the ones who are doing other things. For example, writing blogs. They want to do presentations. They are doing more outreach. So this could align to the architecture committee and the outreach committee. And then the legends, as we talked about, are people who are involved in both and maybe doing more governance things. This I think Siddharth would fall into. He's sort of working and doing ambassador work, but he's also doing kind of the governance stuff, worrying about Trello boards, and he's been working with Garima on this particular project. So that's how she has them lined up. What we have to work on are the stages within those groups. So for if we look at the champions, contribute source code monthly, review source code contributions, troubleshooting open issues, responding to support questions, reporting monthly contributions. The benefits, the recognition badge from Ortelius, opportunity to get nominated for the TOC. So I think what we're going to have to do as we grow is we're going to have to pull sort of somebody from the open source community to serve on the TOC board. You all were invited to the first one. Some of you attended. I think it's pretty exciting. We had about 18 people show up for it. It gives you a chance to participate in trainings. We don't know what that means yet. She just knows that we need to have training as part of it. Swag, participate in or drive and judge as a part of the hackathons. And then if we can do free passes for specific conferences, these groups, this would be the group that would qualify for that. Ambassadors would participate in an ambassador meeting. We would have a proper ambassador program. We'd sort of grow this outreach to an ambassador program. They would lead or drive one workshop or webinar a year, help us set up any kind of governance like Nitu does, do at least a blog once a quarter, and participate in other SIGs as we create them. And their benefits would be they'd become a certified trainer. They would take on, they would have the option to drive all the meetup opportunities. They would have featured blogs in Ortelius. Not sure what that would mean, but we would do featured blogs for them. Rights to create Ortelius communities. So if they wanted to create their own local ones. Early access to features so that we would bring them in a way, get approval from them based on what the TOC is pushing. And then we'll create a proper speakers bureau and they would be a part of the speakers bureau. Now, if you're a legend, you have to show that you're a role model for all contributor types. You should be thinking about contributing in a governance role, meaning, taking charge of something and participate in whatever programs that are between the champion ambassador. So for example, you might be coding and you might be doing a workshop. We'd like to see that you mentor at least one ambassador or champion, which means that somebody new coming along, you would help them get involved. And you would also be nominated for the TOC, be represented in Ortelius, represent Ortelius at conferences. I don't know why she put drive customer presentations, but I think what she really wanted to talk about here is to help end users adopt the process. And then down here, she put these kind of stages. We still have to think about what these stages are in very specific terms, like how many pull requests, first time, first pull request, first change gets you at the first stage. And then that's the same with the ambassador and the legends. So we have to come up with some very specific stages, but before we do that, I want to make sure that these 3 groups feel right.
It's look great. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're easy to
makes
follow.
sense. Yeah.
Makes sense to me too. Yeah, looks great.
And within these stages, we will have the badges. You know, we have the, Sergio made us the bronze, silver, and gold badges to fit with these. And so we'll just have the colors on them. And then on the bottom, it will say, you know, champion, ambassador, or legend. And there will be a silver, bronze, or gold background.
Cool. Do you know if the Ortelius project gets a seat at the CDF board, TOC?
I am going to, so the way that the TOC right now is built, it says that you can have up to 6 TOC board members from the projects. And right now there are 6 projects. So if they add one more, they're going to have to do a vote. So they're going to restructure how that TOC looks. They're going to restructure it to be 4 from the projects, and then they're going to bring in, I believe, 2 from the ambassador program. So we're going to have to run for it. I am not going to run as a board member this year. I've been there for 2 years. I feel like there should be another member that gets a chance to be on that board. So I'm going to run for the TOC board.
So there's the CDF board, and then there's the CDF TOC.
Right. So I'm not going to run for the CDF board. I'm going to run for the CDF TOC board.
Got it.
I'm not going to run on the governing board. I'm going to run on the Technology Oversight Committee board.
Got it.
I don't know if I'll get elected, but I am going to run. I'm going to definitely run for it. Those 4 spots, there's a good chance I'll get added to that. But I don't want to run for the governing board because I've been there for 2 years, and I'm a board member representative, which means that other members should be able to have now a chance to sit on that board. So I feel like it's time for me to step down from that.
So I'm wondering if that should fit into this recognition program as well, or if it's.
Well, that's what we did for our. So now keep in mind that every project has a TOC, and then there's the CDF TOC board that brings in new projects. So with these 2 spots, the champion spot and the legend spot, they have a chance to be nominated to be on the TOC board.
Which one? The CDF
legends? One? No, the Ortelius one.
Got it.
So this, where it says opportunity to get nominated for specific positions on the board, that means that they can nominate if they are a champion or if they're working as a champion or a legend, they have the opportunity to be on the TOC.
Okay.
So we're not bringing in outreach to the TOC. We're staying with the technical team, and we added the legends because the legends have to be participating in both. So.
Right. All right. I'm following now.
And we should have at least one member from the community being on the board with that, because we'll get to a point where we will have to have we'll be voting on issues. I don't know what they might be, but we could have a situation where we're voting, which means that one person from the community at least should be on that board.
Right.
Right now, we've defined it with people who we, in a lot of ways, recruited for that board just to build it. We have one of our Deploy Hub end users. We have, Red Hat, Google, and Netflix are key. And then we have 2 of our original folks, or 3 of our original folks, Tim Kelton, Doug Orr, and Phil Gibbs. So they were part of the original one, and then we brought the big names in. So what we need now is a one person from the open source community.
Cool.
So that's what it looks like. If everybody is good with this, I will go ahead and move forward and try to build this. This is going to be harder to do. Number of open issues and open pull requests. We'll just have to come up with something that in a way we can measure it easily, which is why I'm really glad that the website now can be pushed via pull request, because I think most of what will be tracking will be through either Trello or GitHub.
Yeah, there's a project I think Tracy Miranda was talking about adding us to. It's called it's at the Linux Foundation level. It's called Insights, where they start looking at your repos and giving you statistics around it. And we may be able to get some of those numbers from there. But yeah, if there's something that we can figure out how to measure out of Git, that would be the easiest.
Yeah. And this will be
Well,
something
easy.
that,
I wouldn't say easiest, easier.
it would be something that we'll have to give to like Perjot or to Nitu to start tracking.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for the recognition program and for the website. Those are two big rocks that we're getting kind of finalized. I want to get this recognition program off and running before March 31st.
And you have the badging company figured out. That's settled on.
We have the badging company figured out. I can't remember the name of it, but
It was like Badger.io
yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have the badges. I just haven't shrunk it down to make sure it still is visible in a smaller image. I think it will be. You may not be able to see until you click on it, if it's legendary or if it's a champion, but we'll be able to see the colors just fine. And I think it'll be distinctive enough. So that's the only thing I have yet to do. And Sergio, I'll get that done sometime this week. I don't think there'll be a problem with it, but if there is, I'll let you know.
Okay. Maybe we can use a big letter, something like that, but we can check. I wanted to ask something about the website. It will be useful if we, for example, translate the website to Spanish, because I can do that, but I don't really know if it's valuable, because there is a lot of people in Spanish, they prefer things in English, so it's weird.
It is hugely, that would be a huge accomplishment to do that. And one of the reasons I tell you this is because there's another individual, I was hoping he would be on today, who is, I think, from Costa Rica, and he is trying, he is working to build a broader kind of Latin community around, open source projects, and he wants to become part of this, but having it translated would be big.
I can do that. Okay, I'm going to clone the repo and do the well, we have the EN folder, so I will add the Spanish folder, and I will be pushing.
Is there a way to do it automatically, so if logs are added, those get done? Is there any kind of automatic translation?
Usually if I want to do something like that, I use just like Google Translate, and then I do a review over that. If not, I just translate from zero, from the scratch. So it depends. If you want to be fast, I can try to do that.
I noticed, like in, because I keep following Jenkins, I think they did a great job. They have it in Chinese as well, and it's like, is somebody translating that completely for them every single time? And there's a lot of stuff in here.
Maybe if you just tell me what is like priorities to translate, and I can start with in that.
Oh, the priority to translate would be the documentation.
Documentation, okay.
Which is a huge. It's several hundred pages.
It's a lot. That's why I was wondering if there's a way to go through and if there's.
Okay, I will do that. I like a dump of translating, and then I will just read everything to be sure that it makes sense in Spanish.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I know the documentation, Tracy, is important. I think we should pick out certain pieces of the documentation that we want to look at.
So Sergio, but for this would be the one that, see this, so there's two. There's the user guide and the contributor guide. Maybe start with the contributor guide. It's not so big, and it helps people get started as a contributor, right? It gives you everything you need to know as a contributor, and this is not that big. It's maybe, if you were to print it out, maybe 4 pages.
Okay, let's do that. Like, I don't know, every week, like checking how much I've been
Yeah.
translating, and then we just choose another one, and so on.
Yep. So let's start with the contributor guide, because I think that is,
Yeah,
before
I
they even
totally
look at the
agree.
documentation, they should know what they need to do to contribute. And pretty much everything I have is in English. So translating this to Spanish would really be awesome.
And
Okay.
what I'll figure out how to add the drop-down button to choose the language set on the menu item.
You're going to have to add it to the doc version.
Yep. Right.
And then we'll later do it to the website.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you, Sergio. That's an amazing thing to step up to do. On the same note, before we have to run, there is a program called, you guys are still looking at my screen, I'm assuming. She Codes Africa, is that it? So She Code Africa has a program for educating women in coding, and they in April are doing an event, a hackathon. Let's see if they have. She's got it up here. No, let me pull it up. See if I have it somewhere. She Code Africa. This is just it's a 4-week hackathon in April, and the people who get selected get $500 for participating in it. Deploy Hub is going to be a sponsor, but we will need folks to step up to be a mentor for at least one of you to be a mentor. Of course, Sasha, considering the time frame, I thought of you.
Time zone, yeah.
The time zone. What did I say? The time frame? Time zone. I thought of you as well as potentially Owen. But keep this in mind, because we will sign up for it, and we'll need it. And we won't make it a hard. It won't be anything terribly difficult. It'll probably be something like a report in a that can be a microservice. Something fairly
That's awesome.
simple. Yeah, I'm looking forward to for Deploy Hub to be hosting it or sponsoring it. We'll just sponsor it at a bronze level, but it's still they have to raise.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. They have to raise $40,000 for the program is what they need.
Okay.
I think that they'll probably get that. She didn't seem too worried. I'm going to bring it up to the CD Foundation too, see if there's other companies who want to participate in it. But anyway, that is the other thing that we'll be working on in April. And then we have GSOC doesn't start till I think in maybe June 1st.
Yeah, and we'll have to see on GSOC if we get anybody coming our way, because they're going to give so many slots to the CDF. They may give 4 slots to the CDF, and that's across all the projects.
Right. So we may not get anybody.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't do these other more interesting ones. And diversity has always been something that I'm passionate about. So when I saw this, it was like, oh, this is for us. This is the kind of stuff we should be doing.
So if there's anybody else, Karam, I don't know if it would work for you as well, since you're closer to that time zone as well. So anybody in that area, time zone wise, let us know if you're interested as being a mentor. And we're not going to make it, like Tracy said, we're not going to make it super complicated. We'll break it down so it's easy so we can be successful, and the students can be successful as well.
Yeah, we want the ladies to, whoever we get to as a mentee, we want them to feel really empowered.
Yeah, I'll definitely vote for that. I also might need to be empowered.
Okay.
Well, it'll definitely motivate you when you got to be responsible to somebody.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like my code skills. I better like sort of brushing off the cobwebs.
That's good. That'll be good for both of you then, right?
Yes.
Tracy, can you share the link in the chat for the hackathon?
Tracy, can you throw the link in the chat?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of the things, because because I'm the chief of our volunteer fire department, and it's one thing when you start teaching people how it forces you to learn on your own. It really makes you think of things differently, and definitely brings your skill level up as well.
Yeah. So who else is close to that time zone? Siddharth, are you close to that time zone? What time is it right now for
What?
you? Oh, you're on mute.
It's 9 o'clock evening.
And what about you, Sasha?
5:30 in
Are you
Cape
only-
Town, yeah.
Yeah, 4 hours
Yeah.
off. All right. Yeah. So just in case they ask us for more mentors, I'm just seeing who we have that can help out.
What can I also do, Tracy, is, and I'm doing it for other communities as well. There are certain communities, for example, who want to know, let's say, for example, the basics of DevOps. So giving them, a 1 hour of session about what DevOps is and all those things. So if that is also needed, not today, going forward also, I'm happy to have it. Or someone wants a session on, let's say, CI/CD or something around DevOps or Agile. I'm open to, give those sessions.
I will let Zainab know that because I don't know how they structure their education, but she may take us up on that.
Okay.
And I know in the past, I've talked to a couple people that are interested in our project. They haven't really started participating, but out of the Turkey area. There's one from IBM Turkey and then a couple others, I think. So we may be able to get them on board and get them to be a mentor.
Okay, and that is 37 minutes. We've taken 7 more minutes than we're supposed to. So if there's anything else that we didn't cover, if there's any questions about anything that we have covered, or anyone want to add anything?
Just a reminder, Blogathon is still going on. I have submitted my one sample to Tracy today.
Yay! Yay, I'm happy. Yes, please get your blogs in. You have until the end of the month. If you have 30
I'm feeling
days
the
more.
pressure.
Yes, feel the pressure. Call Steve, record cloud build, and then tell us what you did. There's a couple that we could do like that. The other blog could be how to submit blogs through the pull request. And that's another one. Call Steve. Maybe we just have Steve recorded next Thursday, and then somebody should blog about that. And there's another blog. So let's not make this terribly hard.
How come I feel I'm going to be the bottleneck on this one?
No, you're not. You're going to be the bottleneck. You're just going to have a lot of recorded meetings. We got to get all this information out of Steve's brain. We need to do a giant brain dump for Steve. That's why we call him the big giant head.
It's a compliment.
It is. It's a compliment. I don't
know if you remember, there was a show here in the States called
Third Rock.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, yeah.
And the boss was called the big giant head because he knew everything.
Well, you never saw the big giant head. They just had the one guy who was a psychic who would tune into the big giant head and tell everybody what the big giant head wanted. So we call Steve the big giant head.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
There's some memes coming.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.